Today, we're talking about the new Magic the Gathering set Wilds of Eldraine, possible delays in getting Lorcana product on release day, and more. Friendly reminder to hit that like button, click and subscribe if you like what I'm doing here, and hit that noti bell to make sure you don't miss my weekly videos. My name's Light, and let's shuffle up this week's card game news. On Tuesday, Wizards of the Coast had their debut of their new upcoming set, Wilds of Eldraine. In this set, the people of Eldraine find themselves under the spell of a new curse called the Wicked Slumber. This comes after their hard-fought victory against the Phyrexian forces in the last major story arc, setting the stage for a fresh narrative in the wake of that multiversal disaster. This set introduces hundreds of new cards, some new game mechanics, and the introduction of enchanting tales, all over the backdrop of a storytale vibe. Let's briefly touch on what each of the mechanics do. We're only going to go over the highlights here though, so if you want to learn more, I encourage you to go to either Magic's website or there are plenty of other YouTube channels that will go into this in much more detail than I will here. First up are role tokens. Creatures take on different predefined roles from monster to royal, each with its own set of bonuses and drawbacks, adding a layer of strategy and decision making to the game. Each player can put a role on the same creature, but each player can only have one role on a given creature. So make sure to keep that in mind whether you want your prince to be a royal or a sorcerer. It can't be both. Next up is the bargain ability. Players can make a unique trade-off by sacrificing artifacts, enchantments, and or tokens to cast a spell. In return, they'll reap valuable rewards. Some might say it's kind of like Kicker. Celebration is another mechanic being introduced in this set. It triggers when two or more non-land permanents arrive under the battlefield under a player's control in a single turn, giving rise to celebratory effects and creating some crazy moments. Last up is the return and twist on a popular mechanic called Adventures. Permanent cards now come with their own associated instant or sorcery cards that can be cast from exile, giving the flavor of a creature going out on an adventure and coming back stronger. The twist is that for the first time, you can have off-color adventures, bringing even more depth and flavor to this beloved mechanic. Alright, that's it for all of the new game mechanics, but there is one last new addition called Enchanting Tales, which is very similar to Strixhaven's Mystical Archives. This is a bonus sheet of reprints, but this time it's focusing exclusively on enchantments instead of instants and sorceries like Strixhaven did. There are some heavy hitters in here like Parallel Lives, Doubling Season, and Necropotent, so these should be really fun to open. Now, of course, there's going to be plenty of other previews happening by the day. I'm not going to cover those here, but if what I've said here has interested you, you can, of course, go check out those other previews, or you can go pre-order Wilds of Eldraine right now at your local game store. Alright, stepping into the world of Lorcana, there's a lot happening. First off, mark your calendars. Lorcana is set to release August 18th, which is this Friday. It's tomorrow if you're watching it on Thursday. I'd recommend seeing if your local game store is doing a play day on Saturday and reserve a spot if you can. As you'll see later on, it might be a little hard to get some product. But there is some exciting news. It's that some parks will actually be stocking the game also. Starting August 18th, so this Friday, at the Storybook Store at Disneyland Paris, and later at World of Disney and Bay Boutique on August 21st. So if you find yourselves there on the weekend, maybe you can pick them up there. But unfortunately, it isn't all great news for the world of Lorcana. There's been a lot of buzz around the potential shortage of Lorcana products. Ravensburger's CEO has addressed these concerns a few days ago. He mentioned there's a strong demand for this first batch and outlines the company's plan to manage product allocation, focusing primarily on hobby stores and organized play. While the inkwell might dry for this set, rest assured supply, at least according to him, will increase for future releases. That means if you want this batch early and on time, you should probably try to pre-order where you can, or you might be either stuck waiting in a long line or unfortunately not getting the first chapter at all. That being said, if you can get a hold of them, pre-orders for Lorcana are live now, and you can pick up booster boxes, booster packs, and the 3 starter decks. Now, let's catch the latest news from the Pokemon trading card game. Introducing the Pokemon Trading Card Game Classic, a premium box set featuring iconic base set Pokemon like Venusaur, Charizard, and Blastoise, the Pokemon I grew up with. I'm not old at all. This set includes 3 decks with special glittery holographic cards and accessories like game boards, deck boxes, and more. But wait, there's a catch. Wink. These decks won't be legal for tournament play, and only the Japanese version will have the holofoil borders, matching how they originally printed in English. But for English players, the deck will feature a Mr. Mime card that was never released overseas, having only been available in Japanese vending machines in 1997, which was not that long ago. Don't say I'm old, because I am. The Japanese version is set to release in October, so a few months from now, and the price will be about 35,000 yen, or roughly 275 US dollars, with an English release expected later in the fall. Last but not least, let's briefly talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! They showed off a new card called Valmonica Skelta, which you'll find in the new build pack Valiant Smashers, releasing August 26th in Japan, so just a couple weeks away. And that's the end of this week's news. I hope you found this informative. This is the first episode of this show, so I appreciate you sticking with me as I work out the kinks and figure out exactly what this will look like, find my voice, and learn about this whole YouTube process. For now, I'm just focusing on card games I know the most about, so I can more learn the ropes of YouTube, but I do hope to further expand into other card games and have a more regular cadence as I learn more and this process gets easier. Once again, friendly reminder to please like, subscribe, and hit the noti bell for more updates. That really helps out small channels. Until next time, I'm Light, an intern.